Welcome y'all to the Reality or Not podcast with Eddie, the plastic man Williams. About to drop it in here in this podcast and say what you got to say and live how you want to live. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? I don't know where Plastic Man came from.
Well, you know what's up, man? Used to play for Atlanta. Stacey Augman.
I don't get
You remember Stacey Augman, Plastic Man?
No, I remember Stacey Augman. I don't get the correlation.
Okay, you get it. How you doing today?
I'm okay, dog. What about you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just got back to Atlanta, feeling good. Got to hang out with my nephews for their 6th birthday, and got to hang out with my niece and my other nephew Calvin, and had a good time.
That's good, man. Family's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. I remember on the last podcast I showed you them dunks. They got them. They stunned in them. You know, had a good time.
Okay, what y'all do?
Man, we went to this jumping gym and just jumped for. I put my little watch on to track my my progress. I jumped for 30 minutes, and then after that, I was kind of tired. But literally just a bunch of trampolines all over the place and playing video games.
That sounds like a kid's birthday party.
It was fun. It was dope. It was a good time. It was exhausting, but it was fun. You know, we put together some Legos. I got this. Somebody got them a Lego set for their birthday, and it was like some little trucks. And I came into I was out and about in them Houston streets, and Austin. One of my nephews called me. He was like, "Hey, man, where you at? I want to, put this Lego set together." So I had to dip out of what I was doing and go and kick it with them. And we put together Legos like until about 1:30, 2 o'clock last night.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I think they like it, even though I was doing the majority of the effort. Austin went to sleep. AJ said that we had to do it by last night because I was planning to leave, earlier today, but we managed to get it done. Sister helped, Calvin helped. We was able to get everything, put together. So
that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, man.
So beautiful and pretty.
I mean, music, soul child, so beautiful. Yes, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let me ask you this question. I mean, because it happened late last night. We'll talk about the trade that just happened too. But how do you feel about the AD and the Luka trade?
I don't know. I guess I could see it from both sides. The early reports I heard were that Dallas didn't want to pay Luka that supermax contract. Talked about his conditioning coming into the season. The way I look at it, Dallas must be trying to seriously contend for a championship in the next 2 or 3 seasons. I think if you put AD with Kyrie, and then you got
that's a nice ass team. You look at the lineup. You got maybe Christie starting. You got Clay. And then you got Lively. Like they got some nice pieces that's together to be able to make that team successful. I was thinking about it from the standpoint of now, even with what's my man Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie. I always thought that he's a great player. He should be starting for some teams, but he chooses to go to certain teams that's always filled in for that specific role. Hey, hold on one second. I forget my computer's about to die. Let me pause this real quick. But I think he's a great compliment off of the bench or even in the starting position. But they have a lot of good pieces, and then also looking at it too from the idea of Kyrie. Kyrie, I want to say he's a poor man's Steph, but you look at Kyrie shifting over, playing the point rather than the combo. I mean, Kyrie will still be a shooter, but him stepping over, maybe more playing the point with Clay being a shooting guard rather than trying to play him between small forward and shooting guard. It opens up the offense, and it's not just like what you call it, one person just dominating the ball as much throughout. I mean, because you had back in the day, and this is the hard part when you have superstars and the way the game is set up. When you have, like when it was Kyrie and LeBron, it was like, okay, well, now it's your turn, and now it's your turn. I mean, they was able to get a championship out of it, but it's not really successful basketball all the time. But when you got somebody that can move around like a Kyrie, that's a good shooter, it can work in your favor at times. But then if you don't have like a balanced team, which I think that they have, it gets interesting with them. And like I said, everybody starts to get more touches, so the game gets interesting. Now, from the Lakers standpoint, it adds youth, but now they kind of, I want to say they are light as far as size, pause. They just don't have a lot of bigs. So, are they doing this for the future? Are they, I
For the
want to,
future.
yeah, about to say, are they ushering, not necessarily ushering LeBron out, but, I think it'll work out. But at the same time, I don't know about championships or anything like that because, I don't know. LeBron is a player that, especially at this age now, he's a player that needs the ball in his hands. He's not really. He's a great player, but he's not really a off the ball, catch and shoot type of player. Like he has shot better over the past 5 or 6 years, but he's just not like LeBron dominates most when he has the ball in his hand. And if you take the ball out of Luka's hand, then you take away his. He's a great shooter though, but if you take the ball out of his hands, less touches is more struggles. So
Right. Yeah. No, I think the Lakers did it for the future. I don't think they're planning on winning a chip again with LeBron. I think LeBron probably got maybe 2-3 more years. I feel like they're bringing in their next franchise player, and they figure they're the Lakers, so they'll be able to build around Luka through free agency, other trades. So I think for them, it's just a move for the future, and probably hoping like some of those conditioning things with Luka, some of those things get better. Like he improves on it. He's still young, so he can learn that. He'll get over to LA, like and and maybe this will fuel him, like to know that Dallas essentially gave up on him. That maybe he'll do that conditioning in the off season and everything like that.
He got to hit it with LeBron. He got to hit it with LeBron. I think LeBron LeBron is an influential player. Like I think LeBron rubs off on certain people. I think people change their workouts to work out. Kind of like Jordan with Tim Grover and all that stuff. Like I feel like LeBron's work ethic, it works for some players, it don't for others. It just depends on the type of game that you have. So
yeah.
So let me ask you this question: how do you feel about Dallas not wanting to give him the supermax?
It's a lot to commit to a player. If you don't, it depends what you think you can do with him. They had Luka before they had Kyrie, and they weren't necessarily that great. Like, yeah, they went to the finals, but they didn't look like they were going to the finals this year. I feel him. Like Luka comes in like he did like Shaq used to do during his Lakers run. It looks like he tries to play himself into shape during the season. He gets injured. If you Dallas, if you don't, I get it. Like not wanting to commit all that money to him, because if you commit that money, basically he's your franchise player. And you have to think like, what are we gonna do in the next 10 years with Luka? Are we gonna contend for a championship, or do we trade for AD in the short term and possibly seriously contend for a championship in the next 2-3 years? Like, so do you possibly maybe win a championship in the next 2-3 years? And does that make it worth it to you giving up like a generational talent who might not, the chances are less likely that he bring you a ring by himself. But I think if you look at Toronto, when they made the trade for Kawhi, they only knew he was going to probably leave after the year. But if you ask Toronto, they got a chip out of it. So Toronto will probably tell you that's worth it. And I think if Dallas gets a championship out of this, they'll tell you that's worth it. And AD, he's not old. Like, I think,
He's 31.
he might be. Yeah, so he's older. So, but you might be able to
No,
get.
he's not old. Like I think sometimes it either is weird in the NBA. It's like either they're young and trying to figure it out, or they're old and just trying to figure out the championship type of stuff. There's really no I don't know if it's like the window between like 25 and 29 where you're supposed to be like this I mean, because of course those are times that you can hit your prime or whatever, or your career is kind of specked out. But it's like the older players are winning it. It's not really outside of Boston, but the championships have come from players that have been in the league for some time.
Yeah. And I think you might be able to get 4 or 5 years out of a Kyrie and Davis run. And I think you get I mean, I could see Clay being a little bit more efficient with them
Yeah,
because
get more
he'll
touches.
get more open looks. Yeah. Like and
Mm-hmm.
he's at the end of the day, he's a shooter, man. So like I think if you can get him some more open looks, like where he doesn't have to create or he doesn't have like somebody like a hand in his face,
Mm-hmm.
like AD will be able to help spread the floor more. And I guess AD been complaining that he want to play the 4. And I think going to Dallas, I think Gafford will be able to play the 5, so he'll go back to what he believes is his natural position as the 4. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think I get why Dallas did it. I get it that Luka's a generational talent, but I mean, if he ain't gonna bring you a chip, then what's the
I
purpose
mean,
of
they got
having
into
a
the
gen?
finals last year. I
Yeah,
feel
like
like so outside of injuries and
do
stuff
they look
like
like
that,
they're gonna get to the
honestly,
finals this year? Do they look like a finals team this year?
it's tough because the NBA is so open right now. A team could catch on the second half of the season. The thing about them is they've been dealing with injuries. Like, I mean, honestly, not to say that the Lakers. I mean, I think the league. You got your top teams, right? You got OKC, you got Cleveland, you got the Knicks. Who am I missing? I said OKC, Knicks, Cleveland. Oh, Denver. So, and then Boston. So, I think the league is wide open for somebody winning it. I think if you had the right pieces going, a motivated AD, the Lakers got a chance. But the thing is,
I don't think
AD,
so.
you don't. I mean, AD can't stay injury free. If you look at the amount of, but Luka can be injured and they still make the finals. Like AD not playing consistently with an aging LeBron, they're not getting out the first round.
So then just add AD and hope he stays. If you're Dallas, then just add AD. If you can make it to the finals without Luka, then add AD and hope he's motivated and hope he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm. I guess
somebody
here's the thing I worry about.
look at everybody else.
I look at it like this, right? You know what this team reminds me of. I think Dallas has a squad that can go far or that can win it. But I look at it like this: Dallas reminds me of those Brooklyn teams that didn't really have they were overachieving as far as what they were expected to do, and then you throw a Kyrie and an AD with it. Now, if they can stay injury free, it gets interesting. Like you saw with the Lakers. The Lakers was a 5th seed. AD playing consistently. LeBron to be out once every 3 or 4 games or whatever the math is to it. But AD playing consistently, they were starting to move up. That's the only reason why I'm saying anybody has a chance to win it. I really don't believe, with youth, I think OKC is very young. So I think that plays its part. I think SGA is great. But it's just sometimes the youth part of it, with the rest of the team, with Chet, Holmgren, and the rest of the players, I think that, they have a chance of getting beat, even if they come in as a number 1 seed. And that's what I'm saying. Like the league is open. Like I think that I think the Knicks can win it. Cat's motivated. The rest of the team is motivated to go ahead and knock that out, but they just got to go through Boston. Hell, Boston, people say Boston's struggling. I mean, they still got one of the top records in the league. They won it last year, but nobody, expected, nobody, it wasn't required that Boston was going to win it last year. You know, like once they met up against Dallas, it was considered. But everybody, honestly, I thought it was. I want to say everybody, but I thought change.
You said what?
I said I thought it was gonna be Denver last year in the finals.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
You know, so it's just like you just don't know. I mean, honestly, if you look at Jokic, you know, and what's his name, Murray. You know, them two playing together, and then with Gordon, they look damn near unstoppable when their ball is rolling, but they just got to have the ball rolling. That's what I was saying. Any team could catch steam and just ball out and just end up killing it. But you know, like I said, I don't think the Lakers. I got to look at LeBron's contract. I'm not sure where he's at. I want to say he signed it to next year, but honestly, I tell nobody, hey, take the money that you go get. But if LeBron signs another 50, $60 million, ain't nothing happening for the Lakers show.
I believe that.
So this is one of the things, like these contracts. You look at Jimmy's contract, like nobody's gonna pay Jimmy. Jimmy's what, I think 35, maybe 36, 30, 34, 36, somewhere around there.
Right.
Nobody's gonna extend him, you know, for 3 or 4 years for $50 million a year. No. You know, and that's, I mean, people didn't realize, like, we don't know, but you know, with the collective bargaining agreement, when all that stuff changed with the numbers going up, like it, you know, I like the way that LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Bosh circumvented the process and said, we go split the money together. That was dope. They all took the 3-year deals in 2007. And then when it came up for 2010, they all said, okay, this is how much you could make, this is how much you can make, this is how much you can make. And we all go organize this together and be able to get a team. You know, you can't get that. I mean, you can't do nothing with Golden State now with Steph making $60 million a year. What can you do? You got Steph making $60 million. You got Draymond making $25 million. I think Wiggins is around like 25 or 30. You know, so then you got Kuminga. Like, what are you going to do? Golden State is going to be done for a long ass time. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, so what do you think about that recent trade with that you mentioned before with what's his name from
going to the Spurs?
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs and my man from Chicago going to Sacramento. Yeah, Zach Lavine. Yeah.
Sacramento, who cares? I think it was a great move for like the Spurs. Like I think, you know, we were saying, like I know Chris Paul is there now, but I think for De'Aaron Fox, it's the rest of this year. I don't know how much longer CP is gonna play, but he gets to learn from CP. Like I think any team that has CP, like I don't know if he changes the culture, he teaches like young players about the game. Like I think De'Aaron Fox can learn from him, and I think the Spurs will have like a nice duo there with Fox and Wemby in the future. Like I think it's a great trade for the Spurs. For Sacramento, I don't know. Unless maybe they planning to move Zach Lavine, or I mean, we talked about it like Zach Lavine and I mean, you could say you saw Zach Lavine and DeRozan and
DeRozan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you saw him in Chicago. That ain't
it didn't work. I don't like them playing next to each other at all. I just don't like them playing together. Like maybe it was the glue that Lonzo added. You know, I mean, he's been out for a minute, but when Lonzo went out, they just not necessarily clashed, but it just looked like I don't say one-on-one ball, but it's kind of like a back and forth. It's your turn, it's my turn type of deal. You know, so and then and add injuries to that. You know, with Zach, you know, because DeRozan, I gave it to DeRozan. DeRozan's a pretty sturdy player. Like I can't think of too many times I hear about him, you know, being out. He just go to these weird teams where you're just not paying attention to him. Like he'll go to like DeRozan was in San Antonio, like balling, you know, but nobody want to watch San Antonio, you know, like and don't nobody want to watch DeRozan in San Antonio play under Popovich, you know. So
right. So I don't know what Sacramento's planning to move Lavine or DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't know. I guess Sacramento didn't want to pay. Well, De'Aaron Fox wasn't necessarily committed to Sacramento, so I guess they felt they had to move him. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
a great trade for the Spurs. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think they had a duo for the future. Like against the
Mm-hmm.
Spurs, they always get lucky. You
Mm-hmm.
luck up, get Wemby. Now you get De'Aaron Fox. Like you add some players around that, they'll probably I don't know where they're at in the playoff picture now, but next year they'll probably be in the playoff picture. Like
Mm-hmm.
not the playing game. Probably a
Yeah.
top six seed. So um,
Man, speaking of that,
uh,
let me ask you this question real quick. My bad for interrupting, but like, how do you feel about, and you have just mentioned something which kind of, made me think about it, but how do you feel about Houston right now? Because I'm like, what, they number 2 in the West? They
yeah,
might be 3. I want to say there's number 2 last time I looked,
they're,
but
they're 32-16.
yeah,
Tied with
like,
Memphis, and I'm at the same record.
yeah, like, how do you feel about it? Because I didn't expect this from. Don't get me wrong, I always see this argument with Shaq and Barkley talking about coaching and stuff like that, and like the argument to be like Shaq could say something like coaching don't matter, it's about the players, and and Charles and Barkley would say that the reverse of it. But in this scenario, in my opinion, I could, like I said, I'm not a coach or anything like that, but with them, do you feel like it's more of the coaching or if it's more of the talent? Because honestly, Udoka, I mean, shoot, to be truthfully honest, if Udoka didn't, fuck over Nia, I think that nigga would have had a championship in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of both. Like, I think I was just watching the NBA tip-off show from Thursday earlier, and
Mhm.
I think what Houston did, like, so they have the young players, Jalen Green, the young boy who's a center who just became an all-star. I forgot what his name is, and but then they mixed in some. They mixed in some vets, but like some young vets like Dylan Brooks,
Mhm.
Fred Van Vliet. Then they went and added Steven Adams. So I think they were able with the young players, they got the young players, but then they brought in some of the vets that have
Oh, you talking about that
played,
dude? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Okay,
yeah,
it's like
you know, I
Alperin
believe
Sengun.
yeah, Sengun, yeah. So like I
Yeah.
think but I think it's also the coaching. Like I think because if you look at Houston, like, they drafted Jalen Green. He went behind Cade Cunningham in Detroit. And I think if you look at it, like, I think Detroit is probably like getting back on track now, but I think some of that's due to them having a coach that wants to be there. And I think if
Mhm.
you look at Detroit, like, Detroit and someone else, I look at Detroit now this year, like, they got Cade balling out, but they added some vets. They added like Malik Beasley. They brought Tobias Harris back, and you look at them, we're like, they'll mess
17
around
and
and
10
probably,
right there, man. Tobias
yeah,
Harris, man.
Tobias.
Yeah.
So they're gonna probably be in
That
the
nigga
plane. But
stay
I think
consistent
like
on the team.
he do. But I think
But
like
mhm.
I think Houston is probably like you take into account like Cade and Green being in the same draft. I think Houston ended up being like maybe a year or two ahead of Detroit. But I think it's because they added in Duca, whatever his name is, but they also added in like some brought in some vets, like some like Dylan Brooks, like seems like he's not like doing as much of his antics as he had been. Like you
He
don't
still
hear
be doing
much
fuck
about him.
shit. He still be doing fuck
Yeah,
shit. But
he
but
be
but not as
quiet. Like
much. You're right. It's not as much as he used to. He used to do like some whack ass
some
shit.
like that was all you were hearing about him, but now you don't even really hear a whole lot about him. So like I think it's a combination of both, but I think a lot of it, I mean, it has to be attributed to the coaching. Um,
Mhm.
because he got in there and like he probably teaching the young boys how to play the game, and like they probably have some respect for him because, like you said, they probably know that like if he hadn't had the situation he had in Boston, he'd probably still be there. And he'd have a ring. Like my man that's there now, he's solid, but he inherited that team that Nduku or whatever, like coached up, changed the culture, and put together. So, um, but I didn't expect this out of Houston. Like they're like 32-16. I did not think they were going to be
killing it.
really
Yeah.
good.
And that, I give it, and I, even though I mentioned it before, and that they, that they're young, and it reminds me of how OKC was set up before. Like they're great at drafting, but it's tough with the way the cap is set up to keep players. And when I say that, it's like when you have a KD, a Westbrook, and a James Harden, and what's the African dude?
Serge Ibaka, no,
Serge Ibaka. Yeah, I remember back in the day, maybe Serge just got in before, it made sense, but Serge signed his extension or signed his contract, which meant it was really no money out there for Harden. So, Harden ended up, I think they offered him like 48 to 50 million, and Houston offered him 78 to 80. So it's like, well, hey, I can go have my own team and I can make $80 million a year, or, I could take this money and still be the sixth man. It's like, well, you talking MVP later, finish second and MVP twice. It's like, well, not to say Chet Holmgren or anything like that is going to be like at that level, but he's a good ass player, but I feel like they just have a lot of young talent that it's going to be hard to be able to pay them all within the next couple of years.
Yeah, I can see that. So they gotta try to get it in now.
Yeah. How you feel about LaMelo Ball not making it?
I mean, like I was talking to somebody about that earlier. His numbers are. He has good numbers, but like I don't know.
30 and 9, but they suck. They losing though. But
he
got 30 and 9 up, and at 39 and he got his numbers are up there, but it's just they losing.
Well, it's like who would you take off? Somebody told me you could take Tyler Hero off, and I was like, I'm gonna be mad.
Tyler Hero's balling. Tyler Hero's balling.
Yeah, he's balling, but like just if you're gonna go by stats, then balls are a lot better. But they only got 12 wins on the year. Like, so I don't know.
I'm looking at their roster
I'm
now.
okay with it. I'm
looking at the roster now. Like, I mean, you got Cleveland that's balling. I mean, maybe Evan Mobley, or Pascal Siakam for the Pacers. I'm saying potentially taking them off based off of the type of players they are. Like if I'm watching the All-Star game in general as a fan, I would rather watch Melo do something, with the ball versus Evan Mobley getting a mean-ass rebound and shit. Like, it's just how I think about the game of what I would like to see. Like, I don't want to see what's the nigga from Minnesota? Tall ass nigga. Defensive, Rudy Gobert. Like, I mean, and it was kind of tough too watching him within that little voting process every single time, being the last person picked up. And it's like, I mean, it kind of says what, I mean, he's an all-star. I mean, he's a talent, was he is it 3-time defensive player of the year?
I think so, yeah.
So it's just, I mean, he's a hell of a talent, but I don't want to see block shots in the All-Star game.
I hear you, man, but the All-Star game is supposed to be the players that have been playing like playing at a great level for the season. And like I think like now if we're just gonna say the All-Star game is we're just gonna pick the players out of flashiest, then we can say that, and then we cannot say that it's about the best players. Like I hear what you're saying, but I think whether it's like on the defensive end, if you're Evan Mobley, like your team is like has one
they
of the
balling. I'm not saying don't take them off, but I'm just saying like if it was a player I was going to take off, I would look at him Or
Yeah.
hell, I mean, I would look at those type of players. Like I definitely wouldn't take Tyler Hero off. I don't think that'd make Tyler Hero's like balling his ass off. And plus Cleveland, I don't know where they're at right now, but shoot, they're number 1 and number 2 in the league, in record. So
typically when you have the best record in the league, especially like when you're maybe surprising like Cleveland, you get 2 or 3 players like on the All-Star team. Like I'm not mad about Ball being off. Like if he was on, cool. If not, like I don't.
You go get on.
Like
somebody go get hurt. Somebody go get hurt. You go be on as a reserve.
Yeah, or he'll get on.
They'll find a way. Nah, he'll be on. Like he kind of reminds me. He reminds me of kind of like Zion Williamson. I mean, Zion, when he's playing at his full potential and he's not hurt, he's an all-star every year. It's just like he has that talent, but
he don't ever play.
He be hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when he's playing,
he don't ever play the All-Star game.
No, he's made the All-Star. I mean, he make it last year, but I'm just saying, like, when he played, hell, I remember one point in time. But what I'm saying is, I remember one point in time, like he was out like the majority of the season, and he had came back maybe 10 games for the All-Star game, and like he had a lot of votes as far as fan votes.
Zion Williams is the Lauryn Hill of the NBA.
Yeah,
he don't do nothing, and then he pop out every 10 years and give you one hot verse, and people say, "Oh man, he's fire." Yeah, I'd be fired too if all I had to do was like hoop every 20 games for the year, and then I could sit my fat ass out and eat some beignets.
I wouldn't give him Lauryn Hill. I give him D'Angelo.
Yeah, that probably works too, because D'Angelo went to New Orleans and ate a lot of beignets too.
Yeah, I put it on D'Angelo just because D'Angelo will say, you know what, I ain't doing nothing. Let me go ahead and drop you a nice album and give you some music to go with. Lauryn Hill ain't giving you no album. That's just what it is. She like, fuck it. I got kids, nigga. Like, she just don't do it. I'm like, damn, like you just, man, fuck. Now fuck Lauryn Hill. We can talk about that for 2 minutes because the 2 minute moment of people that have let you down in life, Lauryn Hill is one of them. I had such high expectations for Lauryn Hill. You want to talk about that, Ed, or you want to keep it to the sports? Because I probably got a good 2 to 5 minutes of Lauryn Hill shit. Yeah, man. And did we rant on this before? Because if we ran on this before, then I won't. But if not, then I got a lot to say.
No, we haven't. I'm just trying to see like the percentage of games that Zion has played. So go ahead.
Oh, the percentage of games probably around I would say he probably played like 30 to 40 each season. I would say probably 30, 35 if I had to try to be accurate. Like within the past 3 years.
For his career, he's played 48% of his games.
Yeah, about 35, 40 games.
Oh, wait. I only took in the 4 seasons. Yeah.
Probably about 35, 40 games. I fully I can
just like Kawhi don't get no props.
Yeah. Let me
well, go ahead. Go on your Lauren rant.
I'll go on my Lauren rant. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we do that, let me ask this question. And I go on my Lauren rant. How pissed would you be if what week is the All-Star game? The All-Star game this weekend?
This weekend? Whenever Valentine's Day is, so ask the lovers.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. Valentine's is that week? Okay, so how would you feel if you was like, yeah, I'm about to get these tickets, go see Dallas. I'm about to go see Doncic, and that nigga got traded, and you ain't gonna be able to see him. What would be your reaction?
I'll probably figure his unconditioned ass wasn't gonna play anyway, so I'd have been going for Kyrie.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Are you talking about All-Star game or?
No, he ain't gonna be in the
I just
All-Star game.
want to
No,
see
no. If you was like, say for instance, Luka was playing, he was ready to play, and then as a fan, you got your Luka Doncic jersey laid out on the bed with your cargos or whatever you go wear with them in your kicks or whatever, and you find out as a fan that Luka is going, because this is one thing, and I'm gonna kind of pivot back to the Luka thing before we go into the Lauren. But when I look at the Luka thing, do you feel, even though they didn't want to pay the $350 million, that, or I think it's $350 that they could have gave him, but for this max deal, but do you feel that, and you can say it's worth it or not, but is it worth it to sign Luka based off of international sales and domestic sales versus AD only getting Chicago? So like even if they didn't want to pay for it, like, is it worth it to go ahead and sign Luka even if they didn't want to do it, just because of the exposure that they get within the international realm as far as support for their team?
I mean, if you don't want to win the championship, sure. I mean, I
Do
guess
you
you
think they
can,
could
but
have won a championship with AD? I guess is the question.
I think they have a better shot now, and that's on the caveat that AD is healthy. But you have that same caveat with Doncic if he's healthy. Like, they're both injury prone. I think, as messed up as it is, Kyrie kind of helped make him become expendable. Like,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
short,
That's without a question.
it's
Yeah,
just in the short term, because you would get more out of Luka. Like, Luka will be around after Kyrie is gone and Clay has retired and AD is like gone. But I don't, man. And see, maybe you don't watch basketball as much as I used to, so I don't. I know Luka's a great
but you know
talent.
basketball though.
So that's like I'm saying, like I mean, I, I don't know that Luka's cool. He's a superstar. Like, but I don't know that Luka like is gonna bring you a championship. And if I'm that like Dallas before Kyrie got there,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't a finals favorite. Like they weren't making it
Yeah.
to the
No.
finals with
No.
just
They
Luka.
beat everybody that they beat. Technically, they were supposed to lose against.
Yeah.
They
So like
beat Denver, and then they beat who else they beat? They beat another team that was a higher seed than them. I think they came in as maybe as like a fourth or fifth seed last year. I can't remember, somewhere around there. So.
I don't think Luka by himself was gonna lead Dallas to a championship. Like, I'll say Luka as like the cornerstone of your franchise. Now the thing is, if we're talking about conditioning and things like that, I could see Luka getting upset about it, and like you said, going to play with LeBron for like a year or two, and LeBron getting him in shape. But I make the argument that if Luka becomes that player, that's not a player he would have became in Dallas, because he wouldn't have had a LeBron to play with for 2 years. He wouldn't have had that motivation to be like, damn, I just got traded. Like, I'm a generational talent. Like, I'm already considered a Hall of Famer, and they decided to trade me instead of paying me. That can be the motivation that fuels you to actually like get in shape, come into the season in shape, actually do a workout. Like you said, you're gonna be with LeBron, who, I mean, either LeBron's gonna influence you or you won't get mad and be waiting for LeBron to leave. And so I don't know. So I see why Dallas made the trade. Like, when I first saw it come across my phone last night, I was like, what are they thinking? But I was like, if you can get AD to be healthy, like,
I just worry about AD. That's literally
Luka
where
gets
I'm at.
hurt too. Yeah, and I
But
guess for me,
not
like
like that though. Luka brings fans though. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I'll just say this. I don't think either one of them. I want to say either one of them, but I do feel like if Luka is not hurt, AD is not hurt, Luka at this point in his career has a better chance at leading a team that far because he's already done it. Not necessarily winning it, but he led them to the finals.
Do we really give him all the credit for that when Kyrie was there, though?
No, I mean, but that's the thing. Kyrie's there. Like,
see, I think this is a
because Kyrie kind of disappeared in the finals, which meant, I mean, Luka's numbers were there in the finals. You know, that's where Kyrie kind of shies away from the moment. You know, I think like you look at Cleveland, I didn't see Kyrie shy away from the moment. If you look at like, I remember because I was doing sports betting and stuff like that, and you know I was betting on Kyrie. It was sometimes it was like plus minus 22, like, and he was scoring like 12 or 14. You know, it was like, no, Kyrie, this is your moment to get it.
But I think Kyrie, and I think last year was his first full year in Dallas, right? Was that his first full? It was his first full year in Dallas, right? Like, so what I'm saying is,
he been moving so much, but yeah, I think it was. I thought he had 2 full years there, but I don't know.
But I think Kyrie, and I think I saw some like interviews he do during the Western Conference Finals. Like Kyrie was deferring to Luka to a degree. Like I think about when LeBron went to Miami. I think he deferred. You know, that first year he deferred to Wade that time.
Dwayne Wade, yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, and then he can't. And so I think in some ways now Kyrie is like this is Kyrie's team now, and AD's gonna come in and try to help him get a step. Like I in some ways I think this is like if you ask me like who do I want to actually start a franchise with, Luka or AD, it's gonna be Luka. But I think if I'm Dallas, I think this is one of those addition by subtraction situations. Like,
Kyrie requested a trade from the Mavs.
Well,
like as of 9 hours ago.
Well, they shouldn't trade Luka then. Guess they should consult him with Kyrie to see how he feels.
No, I was literally because I was looking for Kyrie's wiki or whatever. And then I looked at the news thing, and it said, 9 hours ago, Kyrie requested a trade.
Well,
but I think it was what I'm saying is like it's essentially saying that Kyrie ain't happy about Luka going.
Well, that goes where they're talking about this trade was made in the shadows. A lot of people weren't consulted. Sounds like you should have consulted with Kyrie to make sure he was cool with it then. See, now I'm gonna say you shouldn't have traded Luka because now you just lost Kyrie. Now you gonna have a disagreement.
Yeah, you lost Kyrie,
and I don't know who you're gonna be able to. Well, I mean,
yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, and you was right too. They he got that 2023 off the trade, and then he got that half a year, whatever, and then he was there the full year of 2023, 2024. But yeah, that's, I mean, just saying that alone is kind of crazy. Like, because like I'm looking at the pieces, I'm just like, y'all got the team. Kyrie, I don't think Kyrie wants that focus on him. I like Kyrie a lot. I think Kyrie's a dope ass player, but Kyrie, you just mentioned it a second ago. Kyrie can be the focus. Kyrie could be that guy, but honestly, and like I said, nothing against him, but what scenario has Kyrie been the man that he just, I mean, he was the man technically when LeBron left and he was in Cleveland and got drafted, but then
he wanted to be traded to Boston.
Yeah, then that happened.
Then, when he first got drafted.
Yeah. I'm saying, when he first got there, but then, I mean, to your point,
he was a man on a bad team.
Yeah, and then when he wanted to go to Boston, he wanted his own team, and then, you look at it, man, Kyrie was with Jaylen Brown and
Jason Tatum.
Tatum. You know, they were young, but you know what I'm saying, he was with him, and you know, he
He
wanted to
could have
go.
still been there now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he forced a trade to Brooklyn, and that was to me, Brooklyn. You had three superstars who didn't want to take accountability or be the man: KD,
Mm-hmm.
Harden, and Irving. There was
Mm-hmm.
no one neither no, and you see it now. Like KD, Harden, they don't want to like take accountability. I think Kyrie thought he wanted that, so that's why he forced his way out of Cleveland and go to Boston. Then when he got in Boston, he realized he didn't want it. Now I thought this Kyrie, last year Kyrie played, but to which he was playing with Luka, so maybe he will crack under that pressure in Dallas. And now if that's the case, then Dallas shouldn't have traded Luka. Like to me, the Luka trade only works if Kyrie's on board with it and Kyrie's willing to like take the reins and really take the responsibility of it being his team. If he don't do that, then you might as well keep Luka because, like I said, because even if you don't win a chip, I mean, you still bringing in an international audience. Now, then, to me, it does become about merch and tickets. But I think if you had a shot at winning a championship, then you go with that. But the thing is like that's probably why some people should be brought into the loop. If Kyrie's the man on the trade now, then you should have consulted with Kyrie because now if you end up having to trade out Kyrie, what are you gonna really get back for him? Like right now, you're looking at a team with like Clay and
it's
Davis.
gonna be a trade for Kyrie and Jimmy Butler. It's gonna
Yeah,
be a
it's gonna be something like you're
it's gonna be
Kyrie. If all you got for Luka was Anthony Davis,
mm-hmm.
Luka, what everybody's saying is a generational talent. Kyrie's solid. He's not a generational talent, but who
He's
could they
dope.
really get?
Yeah,
But who could
he's
they
dope, but
really get?
he's dope, but he's not
Like,
Luka. Yeah,
yeah, like you could like. Detroit's not gonna trade Cade Cunningham for Kyrie Irving.
at all.
They're not because Kyrie is older and your team isn't there on the verge. Would Atlanta trade Trae Young for Kyrie? I don't necessarily think so. Like, because I don't know that Atlanta has the pieces in play.
That's a good one. Only reason I say that is kind of like Trae Young has kind of a love. It seems like they have a love-hate relationship right now with Trae Young. You know, where they like, do we keep him? Do we not keep him? Because I mean, Trae Young always comes up in trade conversations. But I mean, I'm not a Hawks fan. Like I'm a Detroit Pistons fan, but like as a Hawks fan, I'd be pissed if they traded Trae Young, even though I like Kyrie.
Yeah,
that
because I
was
don't know what Kyrie would. I don't know where Kyrie would take Atlanta. Like, I don't think he'd take them much further than what Trae Young has. Like, you don't add Kyrie to that Atlanta team and they become a top 4 seed where they get home court in the first round. They don't. To me, they don't even get that. Much
Yep.
less a run to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, I mean, do you talk to Milwaukee and try to make a trade straight up for Dame for Kyrie? Then you gotta get Giannis to sign off on that one. But say Giannis signs off on it,
Maybe
maybe
I
you
don't think
do it.
Giannis signed off on that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know that
Like you
Giannis will
literally got
really
to have Giannis
drop
signed
it.
off on that. Like a lot of people don't realize like the power that Giannis has. I mean, Giannis had his brother on the squad like for years. And don't get me wrong, I think the NASA's. I mean, not to say that he's I don't know, generational talent. The phrase would be used, but you know, I don't think that. I think he's a talent. I think he's a professional player. Like he understands the game, but
like
I mean,
he's
but
taking up a
he just
roster
doesn't
spot
fit. He doesn't
nobody
fit
else
on
can get.
Milwaukee's team, but he keeps him on. They keep him on the team. So.
Yeah, and that if that's the appease Giannis, so what? Like, because it's a 12th man spot. Like, who really
Middleton? You know?
Yeah, like who really goes 12? Who plays 12 deep? That if you got it's similar to like the Lakers bringing in Bronny. Like they draft him what number 58, number 59.
Mm-hmm.
the last number 58 or 59 pick that like actually made a significant impact on the
Yeah,
NBA
nah, ain't,
roster.
ain't,
Like,
ain't nobody playing the 55th pick. It's just what it
yeah,
is. Like
so
it's
so it's
like
fine. Like,
I
but if you
I
got
find.
Giannis,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I just find it, like some of the stuff that Bronny gets is crazy because it just comes from people say nepotism and all that stuff. I mean, it just he catches that flack because of that, rather than I think he's actually pretty talented.
Yeah,
Because he got the business dealt to him by Maxey the other day, but and it wasn't just him; it was the whole team. I mean, he probably played him maybe about because I think Maxey had I think it's 42 or something like that. But it's Tyrese
I
Maxey.
think
I mean,
it's
dude.
just
I mean,
yeah,
he went to
yeah.
Tech. I mean,
He's
he
an
went to
all star.
Kentucky. Like he's a fucking
Yeah,
hooper. Like that nigga can hoop. So it's hard to say. Well, Bronny doesn't deserve to be in the league because of da da da. I was like, no. Like when you go up against a talent, like it's like playing Steph. It's like there are levels to this shit, right? Like
yeah.
at the all-star level, like I mean, did Maxey get voted in this year? Like I know they losing or whatever, but
He's the all-star. No, I don't think he's an all star. He was an all
he
star
was an
last
all-star. He was an all-star last year. Was it last year?
year.
Yeah, he was an all-star. Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah. Like I said,
so he's
they've
an
been
all-star
losing.
talent.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, so
yeah,
he's an all-star talent. But
I mean,
yeah,
I think
the
Bronny
base
would be
off of
better
that.
served to like. Yeah, I think Bronny would be better served to play in the G League. Like they just send him down there for an extended stay, like basically for a season, because
Mm,
he had the heart condition, so he didn't really play a full year. I think at where did he go?
mhm.
USC? Is that
USC.
where he went?
Yep.
And so like, which I don't think would be a bad thing. Like he was a number 55 pick. You bring him
Mhm,
up for the game, first game of the season, so him and LeBron can get in the game together. Then you just send him down to the G League. Let him get some
mhm.
reps in. Let him like work out some of those mistakes and everything. Because like you said, like yeah, he gonna get torched by Maxey. He gonna get torched by Curry. He's gonna like it's
That's what
players.
rookies are supposed to
That's the
do.
rookie
Like,
thing. Yeah, like
yeah.
there's players there's players that go in the first round to get torched by like
Mhm,
all stars. Like, cause
yeah.
you don't know the game. Like you're new. You're still learning it. You're still learning the speed of the game. So like Bronny, like was is it, would Bronny have gotten drafted?
I think he'd have got drafted. I think he'd
He
have got
might.
drafted.
I can
I
say
I
his
think he'd have
senior
got
year
drafted
to
like
draft him.
mid. I thought he'd have got drafted mid second round, but when
Yeah,
Rich Paul told him don't draft him, you know what I'm
then
saying? It's
nobody's
like
gonna draft
yeah. I think he was literally trying to put himself with the late like to set history at that point in time. Like
him.
Bronny's
Yeah,
going to get drafted. Like Bronny,
yeah.
in my opinion, is not he doesn't fall out of the top 60.
It's,
Well, how many 61 or
it's
62 players? Like he didn't fall outside of that because it's weird, man. It be broke niggas, and that's the shit that be bothering me. Like when people try to tell you how to get your money, like
right.
people will say, "Oh, he should do some more college." It's like, why, bro? Like if you get paid, dog. If I could have got if I could have got paid after my freshman year, sophomore year, I'm gonna go get that money. It's about money. Like people could say, "Oh, he don't need the money." Like, what do you know he needs? Like, of course, his father is rich, but you always want your own money. Like, if he can be in the G, like I was looking at something from Gilbert Arenas, and he was saying he was trying to figure out his son and like what he was gonna do career wise. He was like, "Well, look, like over an NIL deal, I would rather train my son." Potentially have him go to the G League, sign a 100K or whatever deal, be able to train him throughout that to be able to be drafted higher, versus him, his career being slowed down by having to go to class and all that stuff. I'd rather just focus on him as a player. And this is literally what LeBron is doing. He went to USC, but it's like, people's like, well, he should have stayed longer. It's like, nah, it's like if somebody's gonna take you, give you guaranteed money, give you the opportunity to play with your pops. And honestly, I don't even think I can't speak for Bronny because I'm not in his head, but I don't think that. I think he wanted to get to the league. I think he wanted to get to the NBA. I don't think it necessarily had to be with his pops because if he had to stay an extra year at USC, he would have. If he didn't, he didn't. And he chose to go to the league. Go get that bag. Like if the company that you work for say, hey, I'm gonna pay you 3 years before you get here. I mean, 3 years instead of graduating from college. I'd rather pay you after your freshman year. I'm gonna go get them 3 years in.
Yeah,
That's just logic. That people don't understand that. Like I remember I used to, and it'd be silly arguments. Like I remember I used to think like, and I've changed my ways of thinking. Like, oh man, I do feel like some players do need that 1 year to round their skills out. But then again, I think other players they don't. Like you look at somebody like Joakim Noah. You know what I'm saying? Like Joakim Noah. I remember they were saying after they won the first championship, they was like, oh man, he should be the number 1 pick. You know what I'm saying? He stayed a year longer, won another championship. Nigga ended up being a 9th pick. It's like a nigga draft stock dropped eight spots just for him staying an extra year, which essentially cost him money. But and there's stuff like that like hell, even as close to home with Michigan State, Miles Bridges. You know what I'm saying? Miles Bridges, a blue chip player. He stayed longer. His draft stock dropped. And I mean he's a hell of a talent. Like I remember I forgot he dropped. I want to say it was the 10, or he was within the 10-15 range. But they were talking about top 5. At one point in time if he had left earlier. So it's like, well, shoot, you want the top 5 look on you, so then you can be within the league to get those opportunities. I mean, shit. The only thing Miles Bridges did was fuck over his girl like before the 11th hour of signing an extension or a contract. But other than that, I mean, Miles Bridges probably should have left, a year earlier, from Michigan State. So
okay. Makes sense.
But, I don't know. So back to Lauryn Hill. So I'm gonna have this segment because we said 2 minutes. I'll try to keep it to 2 minutes. We could maybe go a little bit longer just because it's Lauryn Hill and the trauma and all of the stuff that has impacted my life based off of her. I'm gonna give that time to her. But yeah, man, Lauryn Hill. I remember. I'm not even going. What's the movie with the fucking nuns and shit? What's the shit? Yeah, sister acting shit. Like, yeah, fucking sister acting shit. I ain't care about none of that. Cause that one little funny looking ass nigga from City, with City Life, huh?
High?
Yeah, City fucking High. Yeah, what was her girl? She was fine too. She's on the cover of one of the magazines. What was the name? Huh?
King Magazine.
Yeah, she was on the cover of King. Yeah, but yeah, back to Lauryn Hill. I felt like Lauryn Hill was gonna be the best rapper ever, or be at least the top 5 rapper ever. Not even man, woman, whatever. Like, people are like, oh, this is the best female ever. Like, nah, I felt like she had the capacity and the ability to be the best rapper ever. And she let me down. She let Nas down too, but she eventually ended up on the Nas album. But that's only in reference to the let Nas down from J. Cole. But anyway, she let me down. It's been plenty of performances that I tried to go see her at. Didn't make it. She didn't make it, not me. And then also too, I expected her to have more rapping on her Miseducation than Lauryn Hill. And she chose to sing about a good 80-85%. I remember my good friend Joy lives in Atlanta as well. I was riding from this place called Warehouse Records, and I was listening to it in her car. She gave me the ride over there because I was poor. And I sold her the CD on the spot for $10 just because I was over it and I was tired of her singing. I love Lost Ones. She tricked me into thinking that she's going to be rapping even more. And don't get me wrong, it's a great album. I think it's a very solid, like it's a pretty good album. I don't, sometimes these revisionist theories put things. I think it's a pretty solid. I think it's a classic. I could say it's a classic album. But I don't. I feel like there's other classics that I have as well within my catalog too that I prefer to listen to over that one. And it could be a classic, but I don't like it, and that's okay. I still don't listen to the Miseducation Lauryn Hill. There's songs on there that I like, but I still don't listen to that album like that. And just because she rubbed me the wrong way, pause, because she didn't rap enough on it. I think she rapped on like 3 songs, and people are like, oh, she could have did that. I was like, no, she only rapped on 3 songs. It was X Factor, it was Lost Ones, and that terrible song that Jiggy ass. Oh no, that was a good song. I was talking about that happy ass song, that thing, that thing, that thing, that happy ass song, and I hated the hook for that shit. But I do like the fact that she was talking about men and women relationships. Anyway, fuck Lauryn Hill. That was my rant. And then yeah, Eddie, you got anything to say on that one?
No, I mean, everything you said was pretty much on point. I mean, the only thing I didn't appreciate when she dropped a verse on Nas's album after being away for 20 years, everybody said like, yo, she gotta be one of the greatest. And I was like, look, I'm not even a rapper, but you give me 20 years, I can give you 4 bars.
I could give you a smooth 16.
Yeah, like
I could find 16 I could piece together, and you'd be like, damn, he should have rapped. But
yeah,
them other 5,000 that I wrote,
trash.
right?
It could have been trash before. We don't know. And then that's
Yep.
when I think she said on a song, she said something like people were
You should be honored to
about
be honored by my lateness. Yeah.
Yeah, said I was saving souls. I'm like, Lauren, I don't know what soul you say. I don't know
That
what
track.
soul you say.
Look, I ain't even
you
going to.
had a
I didn't go into the live album. I didn't go.
Yeah,
I ain't going to the live album. So I sat there.
I sat there and on that one.
I sat there and endured that, and people's like, "Oh man, it's the greatest thing ever." I was like, "Nah." Like, one thing that you'll notice. This is my thing, and this is where we've talked about this kind of before. Is like fandom, right? Fandom can jade the way that you think about things, right? So my fandom for Jay-Z can be, I can tell you I love Reasonable Doubt, but I can tell you I hated Volume 1. I can tell you I loved Volume 2, but I didn't like Volume 3 as much as I liked Volume 2, and I thought there were songs that could have been left off. I could tell you I loved Blueprint, but there were songs that could have been left off of Blueprint 2 that could have made it a better, more compact album. It's just, but then I'm just saying from the fandom perspective, sometimes people will say Nas ain't never made a whack ass album.
Right.
And I could tell you Nas has made some whack ass albums. And all your favorite artists has made whack ass albums. And my fandom will not allow me to say, every album shit. Fucking Michael Jackson has made some whack ass albums. I wouldn't put Thriller or Off the Wall in that bucket, but I mean, I like some songs off of I'm Bad, so I would give you half of that album, but then the album after that was terrible. With Black or White, that shit was terrible.
Was that History?
Oh. Yeah, was that History? I think it was. Yeah, with Black or White.
Yeah, so.
That was a terrible ass album, but it is what it is. People tell you Prince ain't never made a bad song. I give a fuck about a nigga playing 8 or 10 instruments. Fuck that shit. Like, like fuck it. Like if you, I don't care. Like I don't care how many instruments you play. It's how you put the music together. Like if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Common had that album with that tight ass leather jacket that I did not like. But Common's my favorite rapper. But it's still stuff like that you, as a fan of music, people be like, oh, it's because you DJ and all that. It's like, nah, it ain't because I DJ. It's because I understand the music to say enough to say everything isn't if you put sugar on it, don't mean that it's sweet. It's like that shit could be terrible.
Yeah. Still trash.
Yeah. So it's some badass albums out there that people say just because of, I mean, shit, if you look at all of Wu-Tang's second run outside of Ghostface,
they were pretty much trash.
Yeah. So it's just, and I love the Wu-Tang, but at the same time, that after Wu-Tang Forever, it was hard times, you know. People tell you Tikal was a dope ass album.
It wasn't.
That shit was mediocre. Tikal 2000, mediocre. You know, that one with that weird ass art on it, mediocre. Then he tried to blame Jay-Z and say it was Jay-Z's fault for not promoting it. Like, nah, nigga, that shit was just not good. So
Yeah, Meth has never made a good album.
dopest verses ever. Like Meth is like if
Give you a
I had
dope
to
verse.
listen, if I wanted to have somebody featured on a song, Meth, I would say at least from mid-90s to the 2000s, Meth would be number one outside of maybe a Biggie verse.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, Biggie in 94, 93, every verse he was on, like, I mean, he was damn near a whore in the industry as far as the songs that he's putting out. But I mean, the verses that he was providing people, I mean, hell, I mean, he had that verse damn near on the Luke album. And I remember you had the tape, and I was like, it's like, damn, this is random, but okay.
Big was all over the place. He knew
Yeah.
he was in good shot in a couple years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I got a question for you. If there was one person that you could punch in the face, now, present, you could just describe him because it may be a coworker, but and you don't have to describe him. You said Scottie Pippen?
Yeah. But I mean, if we're gonna just talk about somebody that I actually know in life,
I mean, it could be somebody famous. It could be somebody famous.
I was trying to think about like you know, it might be one person just because they yeah, there's probably one person that I can think of.
And why would you punch him? Why they deserve Eddie's hits?
Because they don't think fat meat greasy.
Okay.
No, they don't. You know, I'm not necessarily Albert Einstein, but I know what I'm talking about in most regards and interactions with this person. I know what I'm talking about. So, but you know, it's like even I've just learned like that's like I'm too old to try to make you listen to me. My philosophy is I'll say it twice. After two times, I'm not really gonna say it the third time. I guess unless I'm really adamant about it. So like that's kind of, but like man, probably if I could like punch that person in the face, I mean I probably would. I mean I'm not. I mean I'm also okay with just like seeing you like mess up as well because you didn't listen. So that might be better than the punch in the face. Just seeing you fail.
Yeah, man, it's very similar to I always reference to Chris Rock. You know, the one thing that Elmer Fudd hated the most, like even if Bugs Bunny would drop anvils on his head and you know shoot him in the face, he said the one thing that he hated the most was when Bugs Bunny kissed him in the mouth.
Yeah, he did hate that.
And that's more so just like, nah, nigga, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna be in your face and I'm just gonna be dope and you gonna have to accept it, you know.
Yeah.
My success will piss you off more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, so that with me, like it was this one dude, I can't remember his well, I'm not gonna say his last name even if I can remember it. He was a whole ass nigga from junior high. And this nigga, I remember I had the Jodeci tape, and I had borrowed it from my cousin, and he asked me could he see it, and this nigga brought like I let him see the tape, and this nigga stole my cousin's Jodeci tape. And, you know, I wasn't like a fighting nigga like back then. I wasn't a fighting nigga, period. But nigga took my tape, and I was told that nigga has done jail time, and I'm like, I mean,
yeah.
I think I've done pretty good in my life. It's like, nah, like I'm not gonna fight you over Jodeci tape, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like it wasn't mine, you know. So it's like, and I never trust like it's certain people that you trust in life, and like, oh no, nah, like, but I would like to punch him in the face at one point in time, but I felt like I punched him in the face with success, you know.
Yeah, but because funny, I know who you're talking about.
But, yeah, he's a whole ass nigga. His name is Craig, but I just can't think of his last name. But yeah, he was a whole ass nigga.
I know the last name, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, he's a fuck nigga. He went to Muskegon for a second, but yeah, hung with.
You want to mess around and pick it out.
Yep, yep. You know, with some drug dealers. He did his thing, you know, whatever, drug time or jail time. Fuck him. So let me ask you this question.
You say what? You may at this point you might as well basically said his last name. I'm not gonna say it though.
I mean, you know it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you do.
I do know it, but I'm not gonna. I almost feel like if I say it, they ain't giving nothing away at this point. But you know,
I gave it all away with all of the rest of the detail.
the cues. I mean,
yeah.
Granted, it'll only be like, you know, Muskegon folks that'll probably.
They're gonna be like, "Yep, I remember I was on the bus with you, the bunker, and he took your tape, and you know what I'm saying." That's why I said I was like, I'm success y'all ass to death. I'm gonna do dope ass shit, and all y'all motherfuckers go identify it. Like, you're like, oh, he doing da. He from the crib and all that stuff. Like, yeah, like I'm doing me, you know.
That's what you're gonna do at the class reunion, stun on them.
No, I ain't gonna stun on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm me, you know, but you know, I'm gonna have some fun. I'm like, you know, I'm a stunt in a sense the way that Sean stunts. You know, I'm not gonna stunt for the purpose of them. I care less about them. You know, I mean, I care. That's the wrong way of saying it. Not that I care less, but I could care less to stunt for anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go stunt. I'm gonna stunt on my own behalf and on Eddie's behalf and on Brian's behalf. So
you don't have
even though Brian don't drink, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of stunting on there.
I don't drink either.
Oh, nigga, lying ass nigga, that's not the truth. Unless you just turned over a new leaf in 2025.
I had dry January. I haven't drunk it all this year.
I know. I'm having a dry February after today because I just got back because it's already February.
I'm gonna have a dry 2025.
Oh, you gonna have a dry 2025? That's you know, do what you gotta do. Shoot, you know.
No drink so far. February 2nd. I haven't had a drink yet this year.
I mean, keep it up. You know, you can do it. Look, I did a whole, 2023? I didn't drink from, December until July. Huh?
Okay.
No, hold up. Take it back. Yeah, because I had 2 times that I did drink because we went on the cruise that year. Or not the cruise, we went to DR. 2024?
No, it's 2022.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2022 into 2023. We went on the cruise. No. Oh, when did we go to DR? We went to DR in 2023 in January, or was it 2022 in January?
January 2022.
Yeah, so that's when I lost the weight. That's when I lost like 60 pounds. Gotcha. So I didn't drink for 7 months. But I did say that the 2 times I was going to drink was January 5th through the 10th, and then it was January 24th. And that's only
Might have lost you for a second.
the reason I drunk on January. But other than that, yeah, and 7 months sober and shit.
I think I had a stretch of about 5 or 6 months. It was a health issue, and I just didn't drink during that time.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna cut it out for after, because like I said, I was on a flight. I said today I'm probably not. I said if I do drink it, to be like once a week, but I'm gonna cut it out just to try some different shit. So
I'm not gonna drink in 2025, so I'll be sober at the reunion.
Damn, why? You gonna be sad? And I hate to say that you have to drink to not be sad, but like,
well, that's if I go to the reunion, I might change my mind.
oh yeah, okay.
No, I probably won't change my mind since you and Brian are going.
No, I mean, so I mean that's the I hate to say it's like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other one. Like Brian doesn't drink at all. So in that scenario, like I look like I'm the devil on the other end, talking about like drink, drink, drink. But
I'm lying. I'm gonna drink. I told you I didn't drink it. I drunk on the cruise. You totally missed me saying 2025. Like I drunk on the cruise.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. No, but I'm trying to, support you in your future ventures. And if you don't want to drink,
I might have a drink tonight. I got work in the morning.
So if you said, hey, Sean, can you not drink with me for 3 months? I'd do it with Eddie.
I wouldn't ask you to do that.
I'll do it with you. If you say, hey, look, I don't want to drink, I'm dealing with blah, 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 I'll do it with you. Fuck it.
I would never tell somebody to like stop a coping mechanism.
That's funny. I mean, I feel what you said. I mean, like I said, I'm drinking just because I'm talking to my boy and we chilling and we doing the podcast and everything. But if you say, hey, I don't want to drink until April or something like that, or until I don't know March 27th, the birthday and shit, I won't drink.
I won't say that.
Okay.
Now I have stretches where I might not have a drink for a while, but it's not a conscious decision. It's just then feel like having a drink. Like
you were like, damn, I done went 2 weeks and I ain't had a drink. So
yeah, but I don't make a conscious decision to say like I'm not gonna drink for this stretch of time. Like, nah, if I feel like pouring a drink, like when we get done with this, now I probably won't though. I gotta go to work I gotta work in the morning and I gotta finish up some laundry. But I mean, I think in the past couple of years I haven't drunk as much, but it's mainly just because I don't know, just haven't felt like it. But
I drink on occasion. Drinking on occasion is cool. Like I said, I mean, we was kicking it and we was drinking it, but we had a little drink package on the cruise and stuff like that. So it was kind of like not that we had to have the drinks, but at the same time, it's like, well, we ain't doing nothing. Like we couldn't record even the podcast at that point in time. It was too fucking windy. But it's just like you just want to sit down and have a drink and chill. I mean, you can, That's the beautiful part. Like now, as a grown up, or I was explaining that to somebody. Like, yo, we ain't got to kill the whole bottle. Like that's not what it's about anymore. Like you can have a couple drinks
and you just wiped it out.
Yeah, like you don't have to just go to grab a bottle and kill it.
It's okay if it makes it through the weekend.
Yeah, drink it conservative. drink conservatively. All right, last question. Good. Yeah, we go pivot some of these questions to the next podcast. But let me ask you this: what are your top 5 quote unquote white shows? And why? Or what makes them your top 5 shows? Top 5 white shows.
Is Breaking Bad a white show?
Yep.
Is Game of Thrones a white show?
Yes.
Okay. Breaking Bad, because I don't know. I don't have I just think it was a dope show. Like I think it's probably just a storyline and everything. Just a teacher becomes a drug dealer, and then all the shenanigans that ensue.
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones, I feel like Game of Thrones should be self-explanatory, but if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, then I don't want to really try to explain it to you anyway. So I think Game of Thrones is self-explanatory. Seinfeld, which I actually didn't watch until maybe a year or two ago. And just
Dog,
seeing how
all them scenarios, even though they may be dated from like the 90s, but all
it's
of
still
them
relevant.
scenarios are relevant.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Um,
cause that's how I feel about Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like
yeah,
I
that's
have
another good
I have a lot of Larry David moments where I'm like, this is why I don't like people, or this is why I respond like this, or this is so. But I'll let you continue. You said you got those are your three. You said
I might put Curb up there.
bad.
I don't know
You
what
said
white
Seinfeld.
show.
You said
Other
what?
white show. I'm trying to think what other white shows. Mhm. uh, oh,
Um,
probably. How I Met Your Mother was pretty good.
you
Um,
said what? Oh, How I Met Your
How I
Mother.
Met
Yeah.
Your Mother.
Mm.
Big Bang Theory. Modern Family. I probably go with Modern Family. How about The
So
Office? Is The Office a white show?
yeah, The Office definitely. That's the one I just mentioned a second ago. It looked like it cut out for a second, but yeah, The Office is definitely a white show.
Yeah, I said The
Um,
Office. Um,
so you saying Game of Thrones, The
Breaking Bad,
Office, Breaking Bad, my
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, and Modern Family?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I go Modern Family. I go Modern Family. Um,
Okay.
but then you had The Sopranos too, but I didn't see the
Yeah.
first two seasons of The Sopranos. There's some solid white shows out there. Um,
Wait, how did you not see the first two seasons of Sopranos?
just
You
never
just
watched
never.
them. I
Oh,
think I came in on season 3 or season 4, and I always say I'm gonna go back and look at them one day because I think I came in when it was starting to go downhill. So,
mhm.
and I still thought it was okay. Um,
Nah, that's
yeah,
one show that can still, like, if you miss, like, you would miss some of the context that may have happened. Cause I'm trying to think, like, end of season 3, was that when Bobby died, or was it end of season 2 when Bobby
it
was
might have
snitching?
been season 2. I didn't see Bobby die though. I heard about it though.
Okay. Mm.
But yeah. Oh, Sons of Anarchy was pretty good too. It was till the last couple seasons when they started making 1.5 hour episodes.
Yeah, I think Sons of Anarchy. I remember the last season. It was a scene where what was the main dude? Uh, not Jesse, because for
Teller,
some reason,
but I can't
yeah.
remember his name.
You say who?
Teller was his last name, but
Yeah,
I can't
Teller.
remember
Yeah,
his first name. I started with a J though.
yeah. It was like a season where it was the last season, but he was escaping the police, and it was like a big advertisement. I want to say it's for like might have been a Challenger, I think. But
Yeah.
so they was kind of like highlighting the car as he's escaping. But I'm like, yo, this dude just escaped 2 police officers in 2 police cars, did a little speed chase, police cars crashed and like blew up. It's almost it reminded me of uh Power. What's white boy on
Tommy.
Power? Yeah, Tommy. And it was a scene on there. It was a scene where he met up with this dude, and he's in his car that he drives all the time,
Yeah.
and he runs the guy over, then drives back over him, and then drives over him, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and then when Tommy shot up Ghost Crib with a goddamn
Oh,
Tommy machine or
yeah.
whatever type of gun, killed the lawyer
AK. Yeah, dog.
and didn't get in trouble. I was like, yo, what type of shit is this? Like,
Nobody
but
heard these gunshots.
right. Just because Ho has what's that nigga? I hate that nigga. Forgot that nigga name. I hate that nigga Ghost Son. Is
Oh,
it Tyrese?
Tariq.
Yeah,
Tariq.
Tariq. Yeah, that nigga left the back door open for his pops to get murdered. It's like what kind of shit is this? But
Tariq.
if I had to think, yeah, if I had to think of my top 25 shows, I'm trying to think. Definitely would be The Office is number one. I watched The Office religiously. I got a lot of references to The Office, like as far as clothes, as far as Lego sets, etc. Um, let's see, another white people show, definitely Breaking Bad. Even though I was thinking about this, I was talking about this this weekend, and I was like, well, with Breaking Bad is weird, is a weird show for me, and I love it, but it's a weird show. It's not a show that I'm just going to start at season 3, episode 4, just because I want to watch an episode from the show. I'm literally going to start it from the beginning and watch it from the beginning until the show goes, until I get to season 5. You know, it's crazy. I was arguing with this dude, and like I went to like this little this game event, or what would you call it when you it was like card games and stuff like that, whatever, gaming event. And he had started talking to me, and I, you read people at the same time, and then he had started talking about Game of Thrones, or not Game of Thrones, but about Breaking Bad. He was like, yeah, Hank and Gus died, at the end of season 4. I was like, no, they didn't. I was like, Gus died at the end of season 4. I was like Hank didn't die until after like the second half of season 5, the second half of season 5, because they had split it into the mid-season or whatever. He was like, no. I was like, no. Like, you can't tell me about this. Like, you may know things, but this is one that, I mean, I broke it down to him. I was like, no. I was like, there's no way Hank died at the end of season 4, because the mid-season finale of season 5, Hank found out about Walt. Like, yeah, I was like reading the fucking book on what was it, Whitaker? I can't remember the name of the book, but
Walt Whitman, I think.
Walt Whitman. Reading the Walt Whitman book on the motherfucking toilet, at a motherfucking party where Walt had already, kind of stepped away from the game. And he looked it up. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. I was like, yeah, no, there's certain shows that you can't really, like I said, I'm not a know-it-all, but at the same time, I'm like, no, that's specific. Like I was telling someone earlier, like if I was having an argument with you, like say for instance, a scenario that we talking about The Wire, right? And we can have a difference of opinion on, Stringer should have died, Stringer should have not died, whether Marlo, was doing the right thing or the wrong thing, etc. We can have a different opinion on that, but we're never going to debate when Stringer died. We know Stringer died at the end of season 3. Like, is like if I'm having a conversation with you and you like Stringer died in season 4, I'll be like, what the fuck, Eddie? Like what the fuck you been watching? Season 4 is about the school systems. Like it's just little things like that. Like we know facts over, like opinion. Right. So we're not gonna have those types of debates on specific things. But let's see. Yeah, so we got Breaking Bad, we got The Office, we got what else did I say? I said Breaking Bad, The Office. Those only 2 I said so far? I thought I said something else. I put X-Files in there.
Okay, never watched that.
No, watch X-Files. The dope part about X-Files is I feel like it set TV up for where we're at right now. Like it made shows become more about almost being filmed as a movie.
Gotcha.
So that's one of the ones I'm like, that's very high up, even though like it's so many seasons and so many spinoffs, and hell, I think it was at least 2 movies, but I want to say it's 3, but I know it was at least 2 movies. They did another spinoff of the X-Files like 3 or 4 years ago, but dope ass show. And just random actors just pop up on there that you'd be, and Vince Gilligan started out, well, I want to say started out, but he was directing shows on there. And that's kind of how I moved into the whole Breaking Bad thing. Let's see. I'll say Big Bang Theory. I like Big Bang Theory a lot, even though I've been rewatching, and it's a little bit harder for me to watch it now, just based off of I know what's going to happen within the show. Another reason why I had reservations is because I feel like Suits needs to be on there I almost want to put Suits on there above Big Bang Theory, just because I want to put Sopranos on there, and it's white people. Like, how do you like? Is Sopranos really white because it's Italians? But I'm gonna put Suits on there definitely. But then if I had to come up with another one, I may go Community. Community is one of my favorite shows. That's one of the shows. Actually, do I still got I think I got the shirt on. Yeah, I got the Greendale Community College shirt on from the show. But I wasn't showing you my titties and nothing like that. I'm sorry. But it's Greendale Community College t-shirt. That's the community college that they went to.
I got it. We saw it. We saw it when you lifted up your
Thank you. I'm glad that you saw it. But yeah, I would probably put Community in there. But if I had to replace Community with anything, it would probably be Big Bang Theory. So,
not a bad little lineup.
Cool. All right, well, that's it. I mean, yeah, we got some more topics and some more conversations coming down the line. So please make sure you hit subscribe and you tune in to the next podcast of DJ Reality Podcast with your homie Eddie. Shake it until you fake it, Williams, in the building. You know what I'm saying? Thank you all for participating. Talk to you all soon.